Hi YouTube, how's it going? This is not some kid from Pop Culture 10. Today we're going to talk about Detective Pikachu, the movie based on the popular video game from 2016 of the same name, and also, of course, sustaining the Pokemon franchise. Detective Pikachu was released maybe a week ago. It's quite good, and I always try to wait a little bit because sometimes I might speak about some major uh, plot points or something like that. So then, if you haven't watched Pokemon Detective Pikachu, this is the a good time to just click away because there might be some major spoilers ahead. Be warned and just hop on. It's time to review Detective Pikachu. So the story is mainly about Tim Goodman, a 21-year-old boy who uh, finds out that his father died. He was separated from his father and he lived with his grandmother because his mother died when he was really very young. So his father went to live to Rhyme City, a wonderful city, utopic, so to speak, in which both Pokemon and humans just get along, bond together, and they don't need to be encased for them to travel around. Pokemon and human beings work together, live together, and Pokemon fights, which are the thing that we normally saw in the popular cartoons as the tournaments, Pokemon fighting Pokemon at the behest and command of their, sort of speak, human owners. Well, they don't take place here because they are banned, they are illegal. And in this city, Tim's father, Harry, was looking into a case and he had an accident and died. When Tim goes to his father's apartment, he bumps into this girl called Lucy Stevens and her Pokemon, a Psyduck, that is all nervous and jittery, and who thinks that maybe Harry was into something more. He had found something, and maybe his disappearance means that he just rattled some cages of some powerful, important people. Team also finds this vial or canister, small canister, with uh, purple gas that turns Pokemon into wild, irrational beings, that attack anything and anyone. He also bumps into his father's partner, who is a Pikachu with amnesia. He's an amnesiac, and the reason he's there is that he thinks that Harry has something to do with him being an amnesiac, and also he thinks that Harry is not dead, that something might be a little fishy there, and that the chances are the father is still alive and going well. They both set out on this case to find out whether Tim's father is alive and where he could be. They unravel a mystery that involves a powerful Pokemon that are used for evil purposes in the outskirts of Rhyme City. And when investigating, and thanks to the aid of Lucy Stevens and her Psyduck, they find out that there are more answers and that in reality, the the experiments that were taking place there in that lab were meant to disrupt the balance that apparently Rhyme City had achieved through time. So the movie is quite straightforward, actually. Despite the little flashbacks here and there, the movie is pretty straightforward. On the mystery and the status of Tim's father and what was going on with the company and the lab and the one that is responsible for all these things. These situations, they all are um, quite predictable. I mean, it's a kids movie, but it's enjoyable for adults as well. It doesn't mean that adults are not going to get a kick out of this one. They are actually going to enjoy it. They are going to love it because if they, especially if they were Pokemon fans, they're going to be like, oh no, there's this one and that Pokemon and then this Pokemon, and Magikarp and Charizard and Charmander and all those. And yeah, I'm not too much of a fan, but I mean, I used to watch it and I liked it for the most part. So yeah, adults are going to enjoy it, and they're going to be just like hunting for Easter eggs. Like, oh yeah, I know this Pokemon, and I know this Pokemon, and I know this other Pokemon, and they're going to see tons and tons of Pokemon. But the story is just pretty straightforward. It doesn't really complicate itself. It tries to be friendly for kids as well, so that they can enjoy it. And as I told you, it's quite predictable because I was going I was accompanied when I watched the movie, and my company was like just stayed my partner, like, oh, I think this one is going to be the bad guy. I think this is going to happen. I think the father is going to be in this particular place, which all turned out to be true. But that talks about the simplicity of the movie, which is not bad. That's not a bad trait. It's actually one of the strengths of the movie because it doesn't get you bored. So the movie is not really slow at any moment, even though there are moments in which it just slows down a little, maybe to give the story, the characters, and the audience, all alike, time to breathe in and enjoy what's about to come later on. Special effects are great in this one. All Pokemon, look beautiful, and Pikachu's fur is just incredibly good. Reminds me of that one for Solly from Monsters Inc., but with more depth, more quality, and I mean it's actually a quite good job. It's an excellent effort, and that also helps get you into this world, making you feel that, yeah, I can suspend my disbelief and think that this is possible, that this is true. So then you're going to get a kick out of this one. You're going to enjoy it. Also, I liked the fact that um, you know the characters had time to develop. You get to know Tim's difficulties in life. You get to know Tim's feelings. You get to know Tim's situation with his father, how he feels about him, and all. You even get to see secondary characters such as Lucy evolve, or rather, have a very established personality and go with it and never going against it, and just doing their part and quite well. She's a smart girl that knows how to come out of trouble, and that also complements Tim's abilities because Tim is also quite the deductive type, perhaps because of his father. But it's something that instead of going against each other, which is also a common trope between, men and women getting together to solve a crime, they complement quite well. And the interactions that, for instance, Pikachu has with Psydog, they're funny all the time. So then it's a pretty well balanced movie. It's a pretty well balanced movie. The only drawback I would say within the movie is that there are some points in which you may not see the coherency of what's going on. Case in point, and be warned that this is a major spoiler, so again, click away if you don't want to know anything about Detective Pikachu. Is that in the part in which Team Lucy, Psyduck, and Pikachu go to the lab to find out whatever happened to the Mewtwo, and Tim's father, the kid, the son of the founder of the city, goes into the lab, finds out that there are intruders there, and then he attacks them. And then at the end, in the plot twist, you're told, no, 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 it was not the son, it was the father all the time. Those little bits maybe are going to ring with you if you are the perceptive type and you are like, hey, dudes, I mean, what happened? You told me this, and then you're telling me this other thing. What's going on? But if you just suspend your disbelief and you ignore it for a little bit, you are going to love it because it's actually quite good. It's an endearing, loving movie. But the major drawback is that making Pikachu talk, and with Ryan Reynolds' voice, who also makes he's Tim's father, makes me feel sometimes that this is not Pikachu I'm seeing on screen. Sure enough, it's got the looks, but it doesn't have the nature and the charisma. Because, and don't get me wrong, I know that Ryan Reynolds is one of the most charismatic individuals out there. I know that for a fact. But it's also true that uh, Pikachu is a lovable, cute, charismatic little character. And sometimes I listen to Ryan Reynolds' voice and I cannot suspend for a moment my disbelief that this is not Pikachu. This is Ryan Reynolds speaking. This is Deadpool speaking. Sometimes even the jokes seem a little Deadpool-y. You know, and that might be a little bit of a drawback, because then that means that perhaps they didn't give themselves some time to define the character, the character of Tim's father. And that's why sometimes Pikachu does not sound like Pikachu. And not because I want him to go like Pikachu, Pikachu all the time, but I want him to look a little bit cute. I'm not saying that it's not cute, and I'm not saying that Ryan Reynolds is doing a bad job. He's actually doing a quite good job, but I feel that I listen to Ryan Reynolds, not to the character that he's portraying. Besides that, the movie is quite good. I'll give it a thumbs up, and in numbers, I'll give it uh, maybe an 8.5 out of 10, close to a 9, because it's actually really good. So if you are a fan of Pokemon, I suggest you go watch this movie. You're going to love it. You're going to enjoy it. You're going to have a blast. And if you've got kids, take them with you. They're going to love it. They are going to have a blast themselves, and you're going to be, loving this for a long time. And it might become a family classic, because it's actually worth of that title. It's just that good. Thank you all for listening. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. Uh, Make sure that you still subscribe. Ring the bell for notifications. Give it a thumbs up. Share it with everyone. Everyone is going to like this one, I promise you. And we welcome you here at Pop Culture Den. So keep on coming, because we're going to get some new stuff, and you are going to actually love it. We hope that you love it. Uh, and we'll see you next time. So bye bye, everyone, and take care. See ya.